So, hi everybody and welcome back to the C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 109 and in this video we continue with our exercise where we create an account and hack this account with brute force attack. And we stopped here where we already created our login function. So we have created our login and now we are on the step 2 where we want to create a password generator. And what is a password generator? You have to think about it. How to generate a password. There are different ways, different solutions, and one simple solution is this one, which I show you here right now. So first of all, I say I want have all the capital letters in the alphabet, right? So for example, A, and then I go till Z, and I test all these letters if one of them is the password. After that, if no one was, then I increase the size of these letters, which means I test now all A double size letters, and I test all the possible combinations as well, which means I have to test an A, B, and then this one till Z, and so on. You see what I mean? A, C, and so on. Till I reach the point Z. And then if none of this one is also the password, I continue with the step. I increase my size, which means I start again with AAA, and then I test again all possible combinations, which would be here, for example, I start with A, B, and then here C till I reach the point again Z, and that will continue till I find my password. So this is my strategy, my tactic, or what you want to call it, to generate this password, because there are also many other ways, but this one is one way. So, and like I said in the some videos before, oops, sorry. Like I said in some videos before, there was already a code which is not which is this one here. And we are using this one because this one is exactly this approach here. And when we watch this code, we can see he is creating this alphabetical letters, which he wants used in an array, which is 26 long, which means we have here 26 characters. And he is doing a little bit more. He checks also the lower letters. And if you want, you could even create here some more, let's say numbers or special characters, or you can even try another approach than this one, which is you are getting the ASCII code and then convert the ASCII code to all possible entries, which is perhaps also a good strategy, but we keep this one. It's very easy, simple, and straightforward. So let's take this one. So what I want to do is, first of all, this is my strategy, this line here, to create something like that, and how I'm doing this. And I start here. I will do this one only with the capital letters for this demonstration, because this one is just additional work if you want to change more combinations or with numbers and so on. That's why it's the same principle, but just to more test purposes. And for this demonstration, I just take this one. So I copy this one here because I need to create this variable. This is a variable, variable array with 26 entries. And you can see these are characters. And he used here a const. And we are not using a const because we don't need a const there actually. That's why. I don't know why he is using in this demonstration a const, but we don't use a const. So I get rid of this const, because const means here you are creating this one time and you don't want to change it, but this one will be not changed anyway. I mean, you can keep this const if you want, but I don't, because this array will be normally not changed. And yeah, to make it sure, you can still keep the const, but I don't. So let's continue. I have now created this here on top where on my global variables. Of course, you could make this one as well here later in a function if you think it's better, but I keep this one now here on the globals. And yeah, I see it later. Let's continue. So I have this letters, and now I need to find this way how to create this. And like I did, like in this demonstration code here, I just create this, I just take his function. So the one function he created is this generate function, which is the password generator, which is exactly this one here. And I just copy this one here actually. But interesting is how I used it, where I copy it. And this one we have to learn as well, not just understanding it, because how we use this code now. Okay, we understand this code here is generating exactly this one here. But how I'm using that, where and why, and that's important. So first of all, I put this one here down. Why I put this one here down? Because it's a definition. Okay, that was easy. This one is a definition, so I can put it here down. The next thing what I'm going to do is change here some thing. For example, I call this one not length. I call this one here string length. And the reason for that is a little bit more descriptive. That means I have to change this one now in all the code what he is using too. And I change as well this word here s, because that's very bad. It says me nothing, and I call it password string. Password string. So I know this is the password string which comes in. And I change this as well in all places where I see this s. And the last thing what I have to change here is probably this append, because it is the generated password string. So I write here again, generated password string, because this one is later the generation of that. And I paste this one here. And I explain fast this code now. So what this code does is it's creating something like that what I want. But how? Let's figure this out. So first of all, it's okay, this unsigned here I don't need as well, because unsigned means just we use positive numbers, but that will be okay. We can set this, of course you can make this unsigned to make it sure that it's never negative and so, like this const here, but that's additional. You can keep this unsigned if you want. I keep this one here, and this unsigned here I don't need as well for a for loop. So that's good now. Let's continue. So let's understand this function, this definition. So the word is generate. Okay, we call this perhaps generate password because we want generated password. So we want to know what we are generating, and here password, because this one is a, here we see this generate password is called again here generate password. So this one we learned already is a function recursion, so it's called itself again. And I talked about recursion, it's a little bit danger, careful about this one, that your stack has enough space to do all these operations, and in this case it's probably working, but we will see. And we continue. So what is this function doing? So it takes a string length. We need a length. This length here will specify how you start. For example, at start I want only length 1, right? Later I want, if this one fails, I want length 2. If all this length 2 fails, I want later test length 3. And if all this fails, I can continue so on. So here we have specified the length. And then the second parameter here, which you see here, it specified the password string. What is the password string? So why we need this password string here? The reason for that is we are calling ourselves again. And what does this mean is if you start here with nothing, because at start we have nothing. So when I watch here this code, you start with nothing. And when you start here with nothing, what does this mean? Let's check this out. First of all, we have here a condition. If, when you read a if, it's all time a condition. And what is the condition? The string length. If this is 0, it says only this equal sign says Control Z. If this is 0, then we should print out this password string, which comes here, and return, go back, go out, right? Of this. So when you read here this return, it will not go here and execute this one. We learned this return here. Careful, this is not a return function. This is a return keyword, which is going out of this scope. That's very important here. And let's continue. If you don't know this one, read again. This one not with functions, just general return. Okay, let's continue. So this is our condition. With other words, this is the condition where it checks 0, print out, 0, print out, and so on. We will loop this anyway with debug a little bit so you can see later how this works. But let's continue and see what this function does. So we have here a for loop. For loop means I loop now through all the possibilities. In this case, we have 26 letters. I want to check all these possibilities. For example, what I mean with that, if A here is not working, I want to check the second possibility, which is B. If this is not working, I check this third one until I reach Z, and this one is here my first demonstration. I check all A, B, C's, and this one, that's why I have this for loop. I check all possible possibilities. And then we have here some comments. This is nice comments. Iterate through all through alphabet. Okay, this is our alphabet. Alphabet upper code. Okay, that's okay. This is this one. And then it says here, create a new string with next character. Yes, this is the string generation. And let's talk about this one as well fast. So here we create a new variable, string variable called generate password string. And how does this password string is generated? Interesting is this line here. Why? Because I said this plus here is an overloaded operator. An overloaded operator, we know already what an overloaded operator is, but not this plus here. Well, for what is an overloaded operator? For example, this equal sign. Normally we know this equal sign from math and it means equal, but in programming this equal signs means not equal. It means is an assignment operator, which means I assigned the right side to the left side because this operator is overloaded. And the same goes now for this plus. This plus is not a plus like in math. It is overloaded. Overloaded means it has another functionality, and this functionality, what this plus in combination with a string has, is it is concatenation the string with another. What I mean with that, for example, let's say this, let's make here a space and let me go here. Let's say this password here is A, and then we have here this plus, and let's say this alphabet I is the, just for test purposes, also A. So what happens here is our result, so this one will be assigned to this one, we know this, right? Then our result here is very simple. Oops, let's write this in comments. A, oops, and in parentheses, A. This one is our result, right? So, and let's make this one so this one is our assignment operator here. So, and I think you get the idea, right? So this plus here is generating string combinations, right? And that's it. So I keep this one and continue. And the last line is, I think I delete this one. I hope you understand this. It's not very difficult. And then the last line is just calling again. I call myself again, but here this one is important. The string length is reduced to by 1, which means if I start at the start with the string length 1, which will be normal, set later, let's see if this is true. here in while. Yes, I will set this to 1. Start will be 1. Then it jumps here. It ignores the first condition because it's not 0. Then it jumps here, and then it generates here my first password, and then it calls itself again, and then it goes here strength length -1, which will be then 0 when it calls it again, because it starts from here. Then it will be 0, and the generated password is here. And what happens then is it will jump here in, not jump, I mean it goes in this body here. It prints out the password, which is A, and then it returns, which means it skips all this 1. Returns means here it goes out of this scope. All right. Later I showed you this in a little bit more in detail, and let's continue and finish this one. So this one is actually finished. This is the definition, right? And I have now make a forward declaration again, our standard thing, because I called this function here below main. You have to be careful where you call this. And all time easy way is just make on top a forward declaration, and then you don't have to think where you really call it, because if it's forward declared on top, the compiler knows, okay, I know about this function. I will find it when you call it anywhere after this forward declaration. All right, that's nice, which means I can call it here. Let's call it here, and here have to change something. So when we call it, we can't call with void, we can't, and here we need now arguments. Arguments means, we already learned this, the real values, or at least variables who holds the real values. And yeah, and this function here we will talk in the next video, but let's generate here some values at least. And what I'm going to do is I just start with 1 and with 0. This is hard-coded, but because we will talk about the next function in the next video. So I hard-coded it. What means hard-coded? We talked about this one as well. Hard-code means I just use values directly without variables. And you see, this one is now hard-coded because 1 is an int, so I can call this one here, and empty string I can call it here. That's working, so that's nice. And the last thing what we can do is testing, because this one is already our password generator, but we have one problem because our goal, this one is a password generator. We have to think about this. It's not the problem, that's perfect. But the problem is we write a function login and if this function login is true, right, then this one will continue to this one here. Because if this one is never true, this function login will all time loop. So later we have to find a way how we call this one before this one and includes in it anyhow. So we can't just call, we can call this one. Later we have to check out how we can combine this one anyhow with this one, but that's later. So let's test this generated function, what we have here. Yeah, let's see if this is working. And the best way is we just start, but we have to keep, oh, I have errors. Oh no, what I did. And what, okay, sorry, I forgot to uncomment the code below. That's normal. Uncomment, that was the other code. Oops. Comment, I have to comment this all. That was the other code which I showed you, and here is our code. So let's run this one more time. It's still an error. Alphabet lower, alphabet upper. Okay, this code what he is using starts with lower letters, and I have only copied here on top the upper letters because I said in my way I don't use this one, and let's change this one to upper. So that's a very easy fix. I write this one here. Copy this one and write this one, because I use only for this demonstration the upper ones and not the lower ones. All right, so now I started again. And yeah, so what we have here, the first problem, like I said, we generating no passwords at start. We just try this, and later and I have to type in now the right username and the password to go to the next step, and we will talk about this later. So coder, and I think the password is AA. You can see this one here on top. It says here coder AA on the side, and when I press now 8, and what happens is you can see it, our generator password runs, and it starts with A like I wanted, and then it checks all the length with 1, but he's not going to the next one, and he's going not after the next one to the next one. We have to find out why, and the reason why it's very simple. There is one more function, which is a loop which will increase the string length, because you can see here what I did is I started with a string length here, hard coded this one here, but never increased this one here, right? So we have to find to increase this value, and this one will make this other function. So before I stop, perhaps I show you the debug here one more time, or you can show this debug by itself, because I don't need to waste your time. What I mean with debug is try to see how this works here. You go here to this debug, you click this one on, then you have this red thing here, then you start. Let's repeat a little bit debug. I will not go it. The problem is here I need, because I called it here, so this one, and now the debug will start. So now the debug is here, and what you can do now is here, go in this main step into this function. So after it steps in, you can see it jumps here, and then you can check all the steps one by one, how it is generated, why it is skipping, or what it's doing. So understanding the function a little bit more in detail. So here I stop, because that one you can do on your own. That's okay. And in the next video, we will check this other functions, which will increase the string length, and then then we will have to do a little bit more later, how we can combine this one with this one a little bit, because this one is also not right. There's still a little bit work, but no worry, we can do it. And before I stop now, I hope that you did this on your own. What I mean with on your own is with your own ideas, with your own thoughts. Doesn't matter if it's wrong. It is important that you try this with your own thinking, not just copying like me anything anywhere. But this one is also a very good lesson if you can do this, because if you are able to understand other code, this is also a very high skill already, and you can integrate it in your code, because this will be in the future the main thing what you are doing, so understanding other codes. But at start, it's very nice if you can come up with your own creative ideas and make it from scratch. So you train all the keywords again and see all these connections, how these functions are called, how to use, because this kind of stuff, it works not with understanding. This works only with doing and seeing why I call this function here, why not there, and why, and all this W questions, you know, why, who, where, what, and so on. Right, so with that said, I stop here. If you have any questions or any complaints, like all the time, write in the comments, and good luck. Bye.